All right, all right. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Mad Hatters. I am your host, Queen Alexis, in all of my luxuriousness, as usual. And I'm here with my boy. You know who? You know who? Give it up for Devontae Davis.
What's cracking, everybody? How y'all feel?
And we with our girl, Mavis, Amos, Davis, the angry, the pissed off, the concerned, the pissed off, the concerned, the pissed off. Did I say pissed off again? Yeah. Y'all say what's up, Mavis?
Hey, hey.
Yo, and we are also here with our two special guests. Man, I'm excited. I'm so excited about tonight because these two young men right here is going to add a little flavor more, a little bit more flavor into this panel on tonight about this topic that we're gonna be talking about. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our first guest from Chicago, from the side, baby. Y'all give it up for D Cook. What's up?
Hey, yo, peace and blessings to you, Queen. Yo, first and foremost, before we even go any further, I have to do this and say, give respect to the King and you two queens for being here on location, for holding down this platform and for giving people like me and Brother Adam like a space to just even have this conversation. You guys know, like you wouldn't even created a podcast if it wasn't a need for this space to be created. So just thank you for creating the space because me and Adam, I'm looking now. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get into this. We probably would have never met before, you know what I'm saying? But today we meeting face to face and we talking about something that's critical. Anything that has the word critical in front of it is extremely important to me. I'm ready to get
And we are also here. Our next guest is Adam Listina. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be on. I really appreciate being invited. D. Cole kind of said everything. It's great to be able to talk face to face. It's great. You guys have a platform where we can all actually talk openly and be civil about it. You can't do that much these days.
Tis true. Tis true. And y'all come on in. Shout out to our number one supporter. Hey, Mom Dukes.
What up, Mama Dukes?
Hey. And man, I'm excited about this conversation because tonight we're going to be talking about critical race theory. Now, for those who don't know what it is, y'all going to find out tonight. And please, by all means, put in the comments how you feel about what you heard on tonight, okay? Okay, but before we do, let's get into a little bit of some news, celebrity news. Devontae said he got something for us. I'm scared. Because he was like, I can't wait till y'all hear this. I'm like, oh, when he gets this excited, always some news, whatever news it is, it's some bull. So take it away, Devontae. Let's go.
Well, I definitely appreciate the introduction, and you're right. I'm always down with the fuckery. So here we go. According to Hip Hop Uncensored, R. Kelly that fucked around and caught a whole nother case for fucking a little boy.
Oh no.
A boy. Say it ain't so, Kel. Say it ain't so. They said that motherfucker slid up on a 17-year-old. And the kid was like, yeah, man, I want to learn. I want to sing with the band. I got a little talent. Kels took him to the crib and was like, nigga, what you want to do for this contract, bro? Yeah. And he already fighting the case. He about to start this his federal trial in August, I think. So it's like, yeah, man, I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching Hip Hop Uncensored. I'm like, what? Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Did you say a boy?
Oh, a boy. A whole boy. I didn't even think Kels was going that route.
I am a boy, Damien. Oh,
Speaking of
Kelston gave.
boys,
I'm sorry, but Kelston. I'm sorry, man. Kelston gave a whole new meaning to feeling on your booty right now. That's over. That's over.
I'm telling you that.
Ah!
Wow.
I'm going in the
Fuck with
corner
him.
now.
I wasn't ready, y'all. I wasn't ready. Let me get ready.
Right? For real.
What
Welcome to
segment
the
are we in
night.
right now? What segment?
This is the celebrity entertainment news.
I
Welcome.
wasn't ready.
Oh God. A boy?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Speaking of little
Don't tell me they're
boys,
still in the same area, right?
you say what?
I said, where did it happen at? Was it still back home?
Man, he in Chicago. You know how he be pulling up on motherfuckers in the street. You know how he do.
Hurt me all in my
That
chest,
motherfucker,
y'all.
a whole predator, bro. Like he pull up
Oh.
on whoever.
Hey, hurt me all in my chest. I'm in
Oh.
Chicago right now. You know, it hit different when you live in Chicago. When
I'm
you
trying
live in
to tell you.
Chicago, it hit different. I just left from the Hyde Park area. I just left from around Kenwood High School.
Dude, look,
Oh
motherfuckers be in the
no!
neighborhood. We never ask how they getting their money. We just go by the outfit, right? We just look at how they look. Well,
Hey,
never
you know who?
realize.
Hey, you know who? You
What's
know
that?
what? You know what, bro?
You hear me?
This is
Right.
this kid. I was trying to hold on to a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope that he gonna get some type of redemption or something. Get his
But
baby. No.
you know what?
He
It all
ain't never
makes
gonna
sense
beat this
because
case.
it all makes sense now because he's got the Rufus in the closet song, right?
Mm.
So I mean, just saying, it all makes sense now.
Was
But
the
I'm
Rufus in the
definitely
closet?
They was in the closet.
Right. For sure.
Speaking
Yo.
of ass, in case y'all haven't seen it, like, look, I couldn't watch the whole video. I couldn't get through it, but I gotta give respect where respect is due. Lil Nas X, he put on for his community. I couldn't watch the shit, but
What
yo,
you mean?
did you see his new video with Jack Harlow? He got butt naked niggas twerking in the video and shit. Like he put it down for his community. Like for real. Like it's wild. Like y'all gotta watch that.
I thought Monterio was bad.
No, he took it to another level. It made me understand how ladies must feel when they watch our music videos. There's a bunch of naked women bouncing and booty shaking. Now I understand, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like, God damn.
Well, you know what? This is the thing with Lil Nas X, and this is just my opinion. The views and opinions of Alexis is not of okay. It might be Mad Hatters. We're not sure yet. So just out of there. What I can't be surprised at what Lil Nas X is doing for the simple fact that he's always gave us a shock factor. When he came out nice with Old Town Road, and then it's a holiday. It was like here come a little bit more, and then here come it was another song. It was another song before Monterio, and it was like here come a little bit more. Monterio, pat out.
Oh yeah.
Going to hell on a stripper pole and throwing that ass in the circle on the devil. Okay. And now this is like, okay, I can't get mad because it also reminds me of another artist, several artists that have went that route, that shock factor route, and it's just, hey, it's his turn. Every generation have an artist that gave you that shock factor, and well, here it go. It's Lil Nas X. Yeah.
I mean, if y'all ladies like to see some old, man candy, y'all do what y'all do, whatever. Lil Nas X video, he did y'all ladies. All right. Speaking of ass, this whole week is ass.
Why is it ass week?
Oh, it's ass week. It's ass week. Did y'all see the lady who they voted was America's best ass? Oh yes, she's
That's
It
a
wasn't
category?
mine. It wasn't mine.
Let me tell you something. Now, and family, viewers, and beloved guests, we have a Caucasian woman on the show that don't got an ass like America's ass, and we got a Caucasian man on the show that I'm sure doesn't like this flat booty lady that they saying. I don't know. White women don't have white women ass like that no more. But she was voted America's ass, like legit. So y'all feel free to check that out. That shit was hilarious. And then finally to wrap up, y'all know who Kevin Samuels is. I'm sure for those who don't, you know, he's a famous podcaster who's
I'm
been
going in the
known
corner.
for,
I don't like him.
well, this might make you a little happy. Apparently, the good people at change.org have set up a petition to get him off of social media.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Okay, wait a minute. Now, to be fair, they also put that homework should be considered slavery. And there was a petition on change.org to get rid of homework in all schools. Logic being that if you go to school, homework is something that you're forced to do against your will.
I guess
That wrapped around twice. So here's my thing. Number one, I don't know how I feel about change.org in this petition situation, but I did tell y'all a long time ago when we was talking about Trump, it's a slippery slope fucking with people in their First Amendment rights of free speech. Because just because you don't like what this person is saying doesn't mean that they should be silenced.
Tis true. But Kevin Samuels is a bully, so I stand by what I said. I stand by what I said.
I think it's a very big slippery slope. I agree with you. Messing with you. I think there's people that shouldn't have social media, but once you censor one person, like, where does it stop? Because there's someone in LaGrange that's backed by senators, and that dude is in his 20s, and he is racist. He is like, he's against women voting. Like, he's right, where we're all at, and this dude's getting.
Oh, they gonna keep him. They gonna keep him. They always do.
They're talking about banning him. It's just, I mean, I'm for it, but at the same time, if once you ban someone, like, where do you draw the line at?
Exactly.
Tis true.
What happens when the things that you believe in are no longer socially palatable, and somebody's trying to figure out how to deaden your voice? So
Tis true.
That's it for me in celebrity news, and yeah.
Now the homework thing. See, I'm like, okay, I don't see it as a form of slavery. I just want them to go back to the simple homework that you give us when we was growing up. I should not be going to Google to figure out a second grader's math problem. I should not. I am 30 years old. That should not happen.
The Common Core math.
Hey, that Common Core.
20 plus 40. Let's break it up into tens, and then let's put it on this side. Let's put the 20s down this line, and then put the 4 20s, 4 10s up here. And now let's count. How about you do that in the problem and save you about 30 minutes of doing all of that?
Let me tell you something, Shorty. You keep new hair every fucking week, so you can't get mad at the new math. Just keep up the trends, baby. Keep it moving.
Don't lie, and it's over there too.
We gonna deal with ain't real. We gonna deal with everything that ain't real.
We gonna do everything. Everything.
Oh my
goodness. Well, thank you, Devontae, for entertainment tonight. The ghetto version by way of the West Side of Chicago. Yo, so y'all. There it is. Y'all, Man, let's get into this. Right quick before we do, this show was brought to you by Amani Queen for the body and for the mind. That's our sponsor and everything. It is founded, CEO, and founded by me, yours truly. It is skincare, it is self care, it is everything to get you together just for you. All right. So hit me up on Facebook.com/Amani, AMANI, Queen 1990, and come shop with me. Amen. 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 All right. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Critical race theory. Ah, dang. Why my mama gonna get at me? For real? Whose side is you on? You got one in your profile picture. Whose side is you on, woman? Whose side is you on? But nah, let's get into this topic, man. We got critical race theory coming up and everything within the show. But before we do, let's get to know our guests. Oh, I'm excited about that. Before we get into critical race theory, that's gonna make me go and clear out my whole bar and everything. So let's go into our guests for tonight. Let's start with the one and only Daryl Cook. How are you? Man, it's been a minute. Look, we had to track you down all on TikTok. Me and Ashley. I'm like, you gonna take that in? I'm gonna take that in. But we gotta get him.
For sure. For sure.
But tell us about yourself. Pretty much you are amazing in this community. And not only just off of TikTok, doing more research. I have done research about you, and the work you do for the community is just so awesome and very much appreciative. So why don't you let all of us know, all of our listeners know about you and what do you do and how you are impacting the community for the better.
Well, let me start off first and foremost by thanking you all once again. You know, you all's podcast. I don't underestimate or devalue what it's doing for me and Brother Adam that's on here. I'm really appreciative of the space that you created today. I can't like overstate that, right? All right. And I'm going to get into me, but I can't wait to get into this conversation because I appreciate you all for developing this platform. I appreciate Adam for being here. And man, who is D Cook? Who am I? Like, yo, why am I on here today? Why did you guys like track me down on TikTok to like get me here today? Like, simple and plain, yo, D Cook is a Black male, young brother from Chicago, Illinois, who grew up with a mother who was incarcerated, a father who was checkered in my life. He was half in my life, half pimping, half in the streets. I was raised by my grandparents, you know, and just real quick in life. I just understood very quickly in life that, yo, bro, you're going to have to figure this out. Yeah, you're going to have to figure this out, bro. My mom got incarcerated when I was 6 years old. She robbed a store with a boyfriend. They got caught. The boyfriend got killed. My mother went to jail. They gave her 60 years. She sat in the county for like about 3 years. And all I can tell you is the day that my grandfather came home after the trial. He set me on one knee and he put my sister on the other knee. That's the first time in my life that I ever saw my grandfather cry. Like racism, not, you know what I'm saying, people devaluing him and making him feeling less. But the day that my mother got sentenced to 60 years in prison was the day that I saw my grandfather cry. And I remember thinking to myself, because I was 6, what 60 years will look like. And in my head, that number came to 66. And I said, shit, bro, you out here by yourself, man. You out here by yourself. And you got 2 little sisters. I said, my grandfather had me on his knee. What that means is that he was on this second generation of children and he was tired. Yo, my granddaddy was tired, bro. I could feel the feebleness in his knee when I sat on it. I almost broke it. I could feel how tired my granddaddy was. And he crying, telling me that my mother is not coming home. She got 60 years. And I was like, granddaddy, how long is that? And he was like, you 6 now. I was like, so I'm going to be 66 when my mama come home? I'm 48 today, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be 66 when my mom come home. He's like, no, she got to do 30 years, and maybe she'll come home for getting good time. And my mama served 33 years in prison. And
Wow.
me, D. Cook, while my mama was in prison at that time, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, being raised on the east side of Chicago and having to stand up for your rights and who you are as a man, considering the fact that it's a systematic system set up for me when I step outside my door. The fact that my family is already fighting from behind the cue ball because my mother is incarcerated. I don't know what that feel like to be connected to the umbilical cord when the ice cream truck come down the street and you ask your mom, like, what it feel? Can I go outside and get me an ice cream for 50 cents? I don't know what that feel like. I don't know what it feel like for a teacher to give me a note at third or fourth or fifth grade and say, can you take this home to have your mama sign this? I wanted to fight her because people behind me in class laughed because they knew my mother wasn't at home. And so when I got locked up, the reason I got locked up, let me backtrack, is because I never seen what love looked like in public. Forget black love. I ain't seen love in public. You know what I'm saying, right? I don't know what it looked like for a man to love a woman. The first time I ever saw a man love a woman was on the Cosby Show. And that was foreign to everybody in my community. Because we was like, who mama and daddy is a lawyer and a doctor? We was like, no good. That is not what it is, bro. That is not what it is. But it's something to strive for. This is a beautiful picture, Bill Cosby. All right. This is what I want for. How come I can't have that? Right. And then I get this letter from my mom in prison saying that I made the worst mistake of my life. I hate that I left you all. And I never want you to come to prison. So throughout my high school years, I didn't smoke weed. I didn't drink nothing. Alexis, you hear me, Queen? I didn't do nothing because I knew I had a mother that was incarcerated that depended on me to go out here and not fall prey to this damn system, right? And I'm just giving you the authentic me, who the hell I am. I don't come on TikTok playing these games and talking about this shit because it's just something to say. This shit affected my life. And I got to be real with you, brother Adam. Like, I'm glad that you got the personality that you got right now, because as soon as I saw this flyer, my soul lit up because I was like, is this going to be a white man that's going to come on here and going to tell me that what I'm thinking is not correct and you shouldn't train young black men and women and children to be proud of who they are? And I'm so thankful that I've had a chance like to hear you and where you coming from and where you at, bro, because that would have set up a whole, that's what black people have to live with every day. Like, how do I show up? How do I show up for this today? Because I don't want to come across as the angry black man, but I sure got something on my heart that I need to say right now that I know is real. And at the same time, it's another human being sitting across from me. I don't hate Adam because he white. What the fuck is that? I don't hate him just because he don't look like me, because I understand if everybody was born blind, I would choose my friends off of who treated me righteous, and I would position my enemies off who hated me. And wherever the hell that color ended at, it ended at. But because of the circumstances that happened here in America, because of how my family came, they didn't come on their own free will. My mom and dad didn't sit inside a house in Africa and look at a brochure and was like, this look nice. This look real nice over here. You know what? Let's go over here and see what this do right here. Goddamn, damn, Chicago, this looking nice. That's not what happened.
What is America?
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. So when I read my history books and I look at the fact that men, strong men who was willing to protect their community but didn't have the opportunity to, castrated with yokes around their neck. And then I look to the side and then I see queens right there with a long piece of wood on their neck. And I'm just saying what's real right now, right? And I know what I'm doing right now is symbolic to what critical race theory is. I'm doing this intentionally right now. Because if you overlook this part that I'm speaking on and I'm talking about right now, it says children who are of Black descent, of African descent, who are of minority descent, those of Caucasian and white descent, a false narrative on how the bricks of this nation was built. It's important for us to know what happened. It's important to know that Black men and Black women aren't savages. It's important to know that all white people ain't evil and racist. It's important to know that shit.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have this conversation, everybody will be typecast. So who is D. Cook? I'm just not only a Black man in America, I'm a grown Black man in America.
Say that.
That's
Say that.
old enough. That's old enough to remember what imagery does to a young child. Because I'm a grown Black man in America, I remember being a child on Saturdays and seeing a cartoon come on. I remember seeing Tom and Jerry. I remember knowing Tom and Jerry like they lived in my damn house. I remember the day we met the homeowners of Tom and Jerry's house. I could see their whole body, right? They were slender. It was a white male and it was a white female. I could see their whole body. They looked healthy. They was a couple. They looked like they was on their business. And then they left the house and then they showed the maid that took care of Tom and Jerry when the two perfect people that I just saw leave the screen left. The woman that I saw on the screen was fat and submissive. And I couldn't even see her damn face. And I was like, how is this a representation of me? I just seen Adam shake his head because he know what I'm saying is right. He know I'm not disrespecting white people when I'm saying this. What I'm saying is that shit hurt to see representation of people who was in my class, and I didn't see a representation of myself.
Sure.
Right? So imagery is the shit, right? Imagery is the shit.
All right, so look, we got to keep it moving, brother. We got to keep it moving.
Oh, my bad. Hey, I get into it. Let's go to the next person. My bad, though, bro. I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you. You know who.
Man, so we're gonna get into thank you, D Cook for that. I was enjoying everything that you said, man. Cause
100%.
yeah, you was preaching. We gotta go into our next guest, Adam. Listen, how you doing? How you doing?
It's going. You know, it's a beautiful Saturday night. I honestly, D Cook, that's honestly, you know, more people have to hear that, you know, that kind of story to know what actually is going on. You know, for myself, I grew up everywhere between Elmhurst and St. Charles. I lived almost every 1 to 2 years, but I mean, I don't see that stuff. I was always raised though to judge someone by who they are, not by the color of their skin, and you know, it's sad that a lot of people can't do that. But I mean, you know, I mean, I really don't I'm not about myself. I mean, I really don't know what to say. I don't really do too much. I try to keep to myself. I have great family, friends. I try to keep an open mind. I'm always open to learning, which is I love to be on this show because I can learn other people's perspectives. And that's, you can't draw conclusions based off of everything you read because a good friend of mine actually said is life is art is an imitation of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Picasso's paintings is based off of something that he feels. You know, Jay-Z's, you know, songs back in the day, like that was his life. Like he wrote songs based off of his life. And that's what inspires people. That's what inspires art is people's lives. And you know, I never would have made that reference if it wasn't for a good friend. Like I'm here to learn. I did some research, but researching and what's on paper is different than real life experience. Anyone can go to law school. Anyone could be a philosopher. Anyone could be a psychiatrist. But to actually do it and walk in those shoes is a whole different ballgame. So, I mean, unless there's something else,
You right, man. Thank you. So, man, let's get this started. started. Shout out to we got people coming in. Shout out to my brother is in the building. What's good? Andre, what's good?
Yo,
Shout
yo, what
out to
up,
our
Jay?
boy. Man, Andre might end up getting a getting the link, but like send me the link, send me the link. Also, shout out to Felicia Michelle Streeter. Man, she been right in here talking about, I love this. You right. Yes. Come on. Man, she has an amazing book. And y'all, I did an interview with her on my open mic. Man, on my open mic show, man, she is an amazing author. So y'all gotta check her out. I read the book, Felicia, and baby, you've been giving me my life. Um, just to answer her question, she asked this, Mavis. I hope you can see it. No, it's not.
No,
Her name.
that's my comedian. That's my comedian name. My real name is Ashley Davis.
So it's Mavis Avis Davis to acronym MAD. Yeah.
And
Here
you
you
know
go.
my name
That's the
ain't no you
MAD
know
of the
who.
Hatters.
Oh, snap.
There she
Now.
go.
My mama didn't name her Mavis, and my mama didn't name me you.
But yo, so shout out to Felicia. Felicia said, Adam, you had good parents because no one should be judged by the color of their skin. I love bring black. I love me and black, but color is nobody's choice. We're born into race, so we shouldn't be judged by it, man. Man, so yeah, shout out to Felicia. Love you, sister. Let's get into this topic, Jesus. So, what is critical race theory? So, to give a short synopsis of it, it is pretty much, um, in my opinion, from the research that I have gathered, uh, it is pretty much smoothing over all of American history as far as what white people did. Smoothing it over, counter storytelling, pretty much saying that, oh, it wasn't that bad. Like, for example, slavery wasn't that bad. The overtaking of our Native American ancestors didn't go quite like that. Uh, Jim Crow wasn't that harsh and stuff like that. So yeah, and the issue is going on about it. The reason why we're bringing it up is because they want to teach it to our children. Now, I'm gonna be. It was said that they wanted to teach it to our children and also teach it in schools, high schools, and everything, and college and everything. College, I believe. High school, try it. Elementary, I wish you would.
Well, Adam,
So,
I think you got a comment, brother.
yeah, Adam.
Yeah. So with the definition of critical race theory, I asked three different sources. Um, but
Yo, you echoing kind of nasty, brother.
yeah, I'm trying to fix
Someone's
it.
echoing.
I'm going through someone's speaker. Um, so
There you
so
go.
going through it, I would like for black and white definition, was horrible. So like the actual definitions from what I was going through, that it's basically there's been tenets, is what they consider it of. I know it. I know, and this is so when with the discussion, there's things to go off of, and I mean, if we want to learn more about it, we have to go off of what it's defined by, and then we can put in our personal experiences and what we actually think about it. So there's a definition and how we apply it. But with critical race theory, this is off. I can do the Britannica. I can go off of the University of Vermont. Which will you?
I want you to actually do the tenets. Talk about them tenets, because that was the one. That was the part where it took me 2 weeks not to go to jail. Yeah, go ahead. Talk about the tenets. Yeah.
Okay, so this is off the Britannica. This one has 6 tenets. So this one says, number 1 is race is socially constructed, not biologically natural. Racism is in number 2 is racism in the United States is normal, not aberrational. It's common, ordinary experience of most people of color. So racism is an everyday thing. Summarize it. Number 3, owning to what critical theories call interest convergence. So interest convergence means a white person will not help someone of color unless it benefits themselves. So, and unless our interests are the same, white people won't help black people. Number 4, members of minority groups periodically undergo differential racialization, or the attribution of them of variant sets of negative stereotypes, again, depending on the needs or the interests of whites. Once again, this is all from Britannica.com. Number 5, according to the thesis of intersectionality or anti-Semitism, no individual can be adequately identified by a member in a single group. So therefore, you'd be African American, but you're a male African American. So you're in 2 different groups. Or you're a female African American. Or maybe you're gay or bisexual, and you're a female and African American. So it divulges off of that on how bad it can get. And number 6, the voice of color. Thesis holds that people of color are uniquely qualified to speak on behalf of other members of their group or groups regarding their forms and effects of racism. This conscious consensus has led to the growth of legal storytelling movement, which argues that the self-expressed views of victims of racism and other forms of oppression provide essential insight into the nature of the legal system. So, for example, my buddy RJ, he's black, and he's in the Warrenville, Naperville area, and he's in the military, and he was in his regular clothes, sweats. I'm gonna assume sweats and a hoodie because it was winter time, and usually that's what he'll leave the office in. And he was in Naperville and went in, get some fast food, came out surrounded by 6 cop cars, and they drew their guns on him. And as that, like, his story is like, hey, this is real. Like, that's a story of his. It's of how racism is real in everyday life. But that's off Britannica. And it's pretty much the same. It's a little different where you actually look for the definition.
That's what frustrates me the most right there is the fact that racism is still here. Like, it irks me so much. And I get a lot of judgment just on my last name. My last name is truly Davis. I go into a doctor's office, and this is a honest to God true story. And they say my name, I stand up, they look at me, and they're like, "You're not Ashley Davis." I'm like, "I'm sorry, did I disappoint you? Like, why are you judging me by my name? You're judging a man by his skin color and what he's wearing and in Naperville." Like, I know it happens, but it frustrates the shit out of me. When is it going to end? It needs to end. And I think by us sitting here and talking about it and educating people who are actually watching this, please, for our viewers, share this podcast because people need to understand that this change needs to happen. There is a lot of crap going on, and it needs to end.
Let's make this quite clear right here. If this ain't a straight up blatant view that nothing changed. I know they say if history repeat itself, but it has to repeat itself after some type of some type of evolution and everything. Ain't nothing changed up in this country. Now you want to put it in law. Now you want to put it in our school books. You want to change everything you did. And I'm not speaking about all white people. As y'all can see, everybody ain't like that. But we are not going to just act like just smooth things over. We're not gonna say, "Oh, it's a normal thing." That is not normal.
But that's not
How?
what they're doing. That's not what they're doing. Critical race theory in its application is about teaching those six tenets and acknowledging from a very young age, like that these are the things that America was kind of like built on, and those are the things that occur throughout America's growth. So we're trying to, I feel that the only way to really start getting this racism out at a systemic level is to begin to teach people about the things that occur. Because we've tried
Yes.
racism for the past 40 years and it hasn't worked.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. As our, us people, we have been teaching our next generation on how we've been treated in America and how our ancestors been treated in America as well.
But now,
What
how does
is
that justify? How does that help Adam? How does that help Adam? How does that help Davis to be, not to say that they're racist, but how does that help the rest of America that is not directly connected to
when we,
understand?
when you give other races, I'm gonna just be quite honest. When just say how it is, when you tell this generation of white folks, and what happened, you give them a counter story of what really happened, on how, oh, it wasn't that bad, and after they are privy to seeing images of our ancestors being lynched, being tarred and burned, being tore from limb to limb by horses or dogs, being hosed down by fire hose just for protesting, just to be human beings, seeing how white folks literally chose violence. So for us to tell them this and let them know, no, this is what really happened. This is the reason, and this is what's still going on. And only difference is between this and right now is that they're doing it through another system and a very inadvertently and indirectly way, but still showing that same hatred and that same racism and everything, which I find it, being a millennial and everything, I find it interesting that this is this is what is the foundation of this country, from people that left England just because they was supposedly going through classism and all kind of oppression. So you left England to oppress, and now here you go now coming up with this critical race theory. You're not It's not what's being said, it's not the story that's being said, it's how they tell it. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You cannot sit up here and say racism is ordinary. You cannot sit up here and say, oh well, it is what it is. This I can't take that no more. I can't sit up here and be like, okay, I just gotta erase, I gotta just accept that I'm worried about my son being killed when he gets a teenager because he no longer is cute anymore. Okay,
You
I gotta
understand
worry
that?
about. I'm
Like,
worried about all this violence that's going to happen to me and my family because of my skin. I
but
can't sit
understand,
up here and say that's okay.
all of that is critical race theory. Every one of those things you said is essentially critical race theory being taught by parents in the home. And a large part of the issue is that people outside of, and I use air quotes, the struggle, have a problem with now being faced very abruptly. And like you said, how people are teaching it. But there are a lot of people that are very uncomfortable with the ugly truths of America coming out. And I would love to hear some of the from our guest. What do you think?
What y'all think?
Queen, really quick, I think you have two devices on because every time you unmute, We're getting feedback. Are you logged into 2 devices?
Let's see. Do y'all still hear feedback now?
Not
All
when
right.
you're talking. I'm not getting anything now, so we're good.
Well, I think because I'm on my phone, that's why. So I'm mute and I guess come on. D Cook, tell me what you think about it.
Yo, first and foremost, so that was a lot right there. Like I was just sitting back, like listening to that because there's so much in it. I know that the answer to every problem that we have on our hands, the solutions that we look for are embedded within this conversation when we talk about like critical race theory, right? And so our topic today was to discuss like, yo, like, should we be talking about this or should we not? Like, let's get to it, right? So I'm gonna share with you all like a post that I came by and something that a friend like shared with me when I told them I was coming on this show. All right. When I told them I was coming on this show to talk about critical race theory, they was like, "Oh, bro, I was just watching the post about that." I was like, "What you mean?" They said, "So it was this lady, and she had a post up, and it was a picture, and it was 4 students. 3 of them was black, 1 of them was white, looking like the freedom fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like sitting at the table, and like we demand to be served, like no matter what, right?" And it was like 20 white males and females behind them. Like, who the fuck, who the F do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Get up out of here. We don't serve Negroes. And they was pouring drinks on the 4 people's heads that were sitting in the seats. When we talk about critical race theory, I want us to pause for a second and get in that moment. Because in that moment, is what I'm talking about when I talk about critical race theory. You're either identifying with the person who poured the drinks on top of the head of those 4 people, or you identifying with the 4 people who were sitting down at the table getting drinks poured upon their head. That's critical race theory and what we're here to talk about today. When I think about it, I've always been taught from day one, from my mom, from mentors that have been around me, to season your child with the maxims of truth. To season your child with the maxims of truth. What does that mean to me? How did I take that? I took that to mean that, okay, when my child is 1, 2, 3, I don't hold my baby up in the air and be like, hey, goo goo gaga 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 go 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 go, because that's not the language that they need to learn. The language that they need to learn. So when I hold my child in my hand at 1 and 2, I speak English to them. I don't break down something that's pleasant and appealing for everybody at that time, but I know that's going to have detrimental ramifications 10 to 15 years later when a child says, for instance, Mama, why didn't you tell me that my uncle was my daddy? I cannot allow my child, even if they don't teach it in the school, I will not allow my child to grow up and don't understand what critical race theory is. Because if we don't teach that, then guess what? Every time you open your mouth, sister, and say something, you sound just like the angry black woman. Why? Because we haven't taught what really happened in this country. And when I think about critical race theory, this is what I think about. How I define it, right, is that we want to put ourselves in a position to where we're not saying that all white people are inherently racist. Let's just talk about what the hell this is. That's what we're talking about today. Whether or not all white people are inherently racist or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to make that decision. All I know is what happened in history. I know what happened in history. And if I can't teach that out loud in public, it makes the antennas on my head raise up the same way it did when they did a syphilis test for Tuskegee Airmen. It made the antennas raise up in my head when my man can't move his knee off of George Floyd's neck. It made the antennas raise up when they assassinate and kill Emmett Till for allegedly whistling at a white woman. If I can't teach that to a child, I don't want to be a part of that system right there, because that's what actually happened to my people in this country right here. Now, when we say critical race theory, when I teach young Black women and children how precious they are and how important it is for them to have favor and to smile when they look at the melanin in their skin, that's not to teach them to hate white people. That is not to teach them that. White supremacy taught Black children how to hate each other. That's not my job, bro. My job is to refill what they took. So what I preach and give to Black boys and girls is a history of what happened, because I don't want that shit to happen no more. Anybody heard the term like insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result? That's exactly what's going to happen if I don't teach critical race theory to my son. He going to die. He going to die. My daughter gonna die. She gonna let a man. She gonna submit to a man because she don't know what it is to stand up. She don't know about, you know what I'm saying, the struggles that we had to go through. Not just with Sojourner Truth, not just with Harriet Tubman, but how about Susan B. Anthony? Let's go. You know what I'm saying? That's what Adam talked about today. Not, she ain't just Black. She a woman.
Right. So let's get it switched around here a little bit. Adam, let's get some of your thoughts on this subject.
You made D Cook. You made a lot of good points. Honestly, I think it's hard to know where to start. Honestly, there's so much to unpack. So I mean, it sucks. You know, like I was saying before, my buddy RJ, him growing up. So he's from Brooklyn, New York, right? And his mom is one tough cookie, and when they went to the store, they had to keep their hands out of their pockets. He never knew why. When he grew up, he found out why. You know, his mom always said, "I'd rather smack you now than to deal with a police officer later on in life. Rather beat your ass now than later on you have to deal with a police officer." And I mean, growing up, like now looking back, I mean, that's horrible. But growing up, I think regardless of what child, like me and him had an agreement, because you know he's Black, he's African American. You got to nip shit in the butt right off the bat, rather, you know, if it's wrong, regardless of who the child is. I think racism is a big deal. I think, and it's taught through the education system. I think the way it's taught is a problem. I think it's also with the parents. We're a reflection of our parents. So there will always be, it's horrible saying, but there will always be racist people. The farther and farther you move out to the boonies, the more and more racist people you're going to see, because they don't see Black people. They don't see African Americans. You don't see Hispanics, Asians, Latinos. You don't see any of that out there. It's just white people. And there's people like in Idaho that have never met a Black person in their life, or people from Vermont that's never met a Black person in their life until they join the military. And that's where they get their exposure. How do you expose these people to people with different ethnic backgrounds and cultures if they're in a remote location? I think critical race theory has a lot of positives. It's just about the application, teaching, because, like, I mean, in the definition, inherently every white person's racist. That's not the case. And you know, what's funny is Jane Elliott. So she was a third grade teacher. She's retired. She was a third grade teacher when Martin Luther King was assassinated, and she came up with the blue eye versus brown eye theory, and she's still doing it today. And she you know, an old white lady, you know, reminds me of my grandmother. Super blunt, super angry. It's great. And she's like, racism and bigotry can be taught and untaught, but you have to integrate. So like my children need to, I need to show that it's okay to hang out with people other than myself. I need to show that you can't judge somebody. I mean, I think we all judge. I think we all. I wouldn't say we judge people based off their appearance. First appearances matter, right? So if you go up and there's a white dude in a suit or a black person in a suit, you'll definitely treat them as if different than someone that's with a white or a black person with saggy jeans, a super baggy, with a pimp, with the walk. I don't know how to be politically correct, so I apologize. But if they're walking into a grocery store,
Go ahead and say.
Look, this ain't the show for politically correct.
Would you not treat them differently? If you're in a bad part of town, and you see one of each type of person walking in your store, would you or would you not think a certain way? I think that's more being prejudiced than racism, because I think regardless, for myself personally, I don't care what color. It's kind of that first impression. If you're acting kind of shady, and you've been robbed quite a few times, who would you look out more for? Someone that's in a suit, or someone that's looking like they might be into trouble? I
think that's a little bit different in the sense of
critical race theory.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just based off of
prejudice has a lot to do with it.
Getting back into the school system,
I 100% agree.
But getting back into the school system, I think it needs to be taught. If we're going to teach it, we need to teach it like how it really is. I know they want to change. It branches off into like the 1619 projects. It kind of falls under critical race theory. It constantly pops up together with it. But I mean, if you're going to teach history class and how things are, I think it needs to be brought up everything. You can't glaze over things. You have almost a half a semester for the Holocaust. The Civil War. You can't paint a pretty picture for Abraham Lincoln that still had slaves, but people like the Black Panthers, they are trying to fight for their freedom and stuff. You can't paint them as terrorists either. You have to explain why they're doing what they're doing, and the reasoning, the thought process behind why they're doing what they're actually fighting for, and then people are gonna go home at the end of the day thinking what they think. But I think tiptoeing into, I don't think we can go. I think the right answer is tiptoeing into it, because everyone's against it right now, as you can see over the news. So in order to get anywhere, I'd rather tiptoe it in, at least notify the parents, get a curriculum going so they know what's going to be taught. I'm sorry, it's not the right answer, but I'd rather make progress than sit here, everyone screaming at each other.
No doubt, man. Hey, Alan, I know a couple of more people want to jump in, but I just want to get in right now and say this because no, bro, you good. It's definitely we're not tripping on whether or not it's the right answer or not. Like, that's the answer we got out there. Here's what the point I want to put out there is that's a privilege that Black people don't have, bro. I don't care whether or not it's the right or wrong answer. It's a privilege that Black people don't have. I.e., an example, my daughter is 10 years old. Daddy, explain to me what Juneteenth is. Go. How can I do that? How can I explain to my daughter what Juneteenth is and don't talk about critical race theory, bro? How? It's impossible for me to teach her, you know what I'm saying, July 4th symbolizes independence in this country in 1776. But hold up, baby girl, you were still a slave.
Well,
that ain't joking.
So the Declaration of Independence is what separated us from Britain, though. We were free from Britain.
Correct. Juneteenth is actually about Abraham Lincoln in freeing the slaves with the Emancipation Declaration. And Juneteenth is simply because realistically, slave owning people didn't want to let their slaves go. You can't read Ain't no TV. How you gonna know you free? And so they let it continue on until essentially it was just kind of common knowledge that slavery is over and people were forced to move their slaves out. Only they brought them in as indentured servants now. So
Hey,
a lot of them came back under
Not,
about it.
not only
I
that,
appreciate it.
not only that, let me put it like this. Let's actually, I'm so glad that you brought up Juneteenth and everything, and also Independence Day. Yeah, for us, we cannot really, once we find out, yeah, what Juneteenth is, oh, this was the day that slavery ended. But did it really? Let's be honest, did it really? Because yeah, you went from free labor to sharecropping, which is another redlining, which which also was brought into Jim Crow, and they made up all of these amendments that had abolished slavery and abolished the mistreatment of our people was only contingent on the states, whether the states want to deal with it or not. So was we really free?
So
I'm
that you
glad
put that's
you
my
brought
point
up.
though. But that's my point though, Queen. My
Yeah,
point is everybody on this call and everybody listening know the answer to your question, Queen. That's not
yeah.
a science quiz. We know that we're not free because we
No,
just saw what happened to our brother George Floyd, right? So if we still not free today, like it's just seemed obtuse to me that we even have the question about whether or not we should teach about critical race theory. Absolutely, we should because we still going through that right now. Now, bro said, you know who asked earlier, right? Like, but what benefit does that do for us to know the information or something to that effect? I can't remember where it was because it was at the top. First 10 minutes. My response to that is what good does it do? It's informative. It's informative. It's affirmations. Affirmations. You are beautiful, young king. You are beautiful, young queen. What happened to you didn't happen to you as a result of who you are and what you look like. What happened to you is a result of people taking advantage of who you are and what you were going through. That's very important to say. So, imagery is important. Critical race theory is important. We don't want the classroom to end and every white person walking out of class was like, damn, I'm racist, I'm fucked up, I'm bogus as hell. We don't want that to happen. And we don't want every black child to walk out of class like, damn, I hate fucking white people. We don't want that to happen, right? Man, I'm saying what's real on here because I know we got a limited amount of
That
time.
is actually, believe it or not, that is a literal fear that people on the opposition side of critical race theory being taught in schools. One of the things they have to say, Adam, I'm gonna get to you because I see you, is
Yeah,
that
I
it
see.
will precipitate fear amongst the races. Ironically, it is coming from one side a little bit more than the other. But the question I really want to ask is, how do you guys feel about critical race? One of the biggest things that is being said is that it will eventually weaponize and radicalize young children. And so this concept of white guilt being pushed on to some middle American, like somebody brought up Iowa, someone, in Iowa somewhere in the middle of the country, now being taught that they should feel guilty for something that their grandparents did. And that is an example of why people are adamantly against critical race being taught in schools. And I would love to know you guys' opinion, Adam and then Mavis, please.
So real fast, I saw Maria Messick's comment about the younger generation having the same intensity of racism as the older. Look up Nick Fuentes. He's a white dude from LaGrange I spoke of earlier, and then I think that's a huge. I think that alone can answer the question. It just depends on the person. When it comes, I don't think it can be weaponized. Wholeheartedly, I think so. Critical race theory is I think you can weaponize anything if there's an ideology behind it. Middle East, for example. You can't kill an ideology. You can't. You would have to literally kill everyone that has that thought in order to do it. And I'm not promoting genocide. Just so everyone knows. I think the reason people are getting upset about critical race theory being taught in schools. So, for example, Glenbard Township, Glen Ellen, Illinois, which is is primarily white and upper middle class whites. If you have ever driven through it, they have a 2-day workshop packet. You can actually find it on Parents' Rights and Educate ed.org in the Illinois section. They have a 2-day workshop packet for critical race theory. It's saying it's like the level of how white are you, so your level of privilege, and there was actually made in the news in New York for a principal emailing all white parents saying you're a bigot and you're like a horrible white person if you don't take back everything you've ever done. It's people like that are making critical race theory look bad. All it takes is a few people and then social media and the news media to skyrocket to make it look like it's bad. Is it being implemented? Well, I mean, I have a site that's showing that some schools are trying to implement it in, kindergarten, K through 12. It's not you can't deny what's on like it's an actual organization site for this township. I think it's oh, that's what I'm sorry. I deviated. There's so much to think about. But for D Cook, I have a question actually for everyone here when it comes to critical race theory and racism. Do you think the law itself is racist, or do you think it's the people implementing and executing the law that is racist? Is it the judges, the police officers, or the law itself?
Well, here's the thing with that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, D Cook. What you got to say, bro? Here's the thing. There's a couple of things to that. Number one, understanding the American system and understanding the true history, which is the point of the conversation, the giving an unapologetic, genuine history of America from all people's perspective. Yeah, you got to think many of the lawmakers, are very racist. The states themselves, many of them, for example, Oregon, they didn't want black people at all in their state. So we have to understand that these things are legacies, right? And they continue on in the form of paperwork, in the form of perspectives and attitudes, and how that shapes the landscape that generations now young people live in. So yeah, there are many lawmakers that were very directly making racist laws. But I do think also that it became distasteful to write laws that were specific to color. And when that happened, it became up to individual people's interpretations of the law. So, for example, you standing here waiting on a bus is completely within the law. That same police officer could see me standing at the same corner and call it loitering. And now it's a crime.
I didn't think of it like that. You're right. No, because I was thinking like, say, well, marijuana's legal here, but say marijuana's not legal here, and we got busted for the same amount, not enough to sell, but just the same amount. I figured my reasoning behind why I asked that is because technically I might get charged different than you would get charged.
Totally different.
So
totally different.
my thing with it is like the law states that's illegal, but it's the judges that are doing the sentencing.
And so
incorrectly. So yeah, the laws don't
credit. But now here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. If we all are not taught at least a minimum baseline of how systematic racism works, and everyone just kind of goes to their neutral corner, we continue the same system where accidentally some people get more time for the same crime as others. Because anyone on the other side of the fence can argue that it's not directly racist, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking, because like I'm ignorant to the fact, and I'm trying to learn. This is why I asked the question here, because I'm trying to learn and see what your guys' perspective and input is. Because what I just said is, I am a really literal and black and white when it comes, because the law is written. It's based off interpretation and how the person, the police officer, and the judge,
and the prosecutor and the public defender.
Correct. So that's why I
system.
brought that question up. Is it are people enforcing the law, or is it the law itself? And that's
So it's both of those. It's both of those, bro. It's both of those, bro. If I may interject for a second,
no,
right?
I want you.
All right. And the reason that I want to jump in and intervene right now is because I want to just be deliberate with visually seeing what that looks like when I say it's both of them. I don't just want to say randomly out my mouth, it's every goddamn baddie, bro. Everybody, yeah, that's right. No, it's both of them, bro. Like it's the system, right? Like think about like, and for us, like as African Americans here, look at it as a racetrack. You know what I'm saying? And we're lining up at a NASCAR. You know what I'm saying? And all 40, 50 cars lined up. Everybody get to take off. Junior take off, Jimmy Johnson, Kendrick, everybody, and all black drivers. You just sit your ass there. Don't move no damn where. Then all the white drivers come around one time. They lap us. We like, damn, my car work. Can I drive? And they like, no, you can't move in the way. And we like, shit. You know what I'm saying, right? And then he lap again to go around. 2, 3. Now it's 100 laps. Now it's 200 laps. Now it's 400 laps, which is equivalent to 400 years, right? How do we get there? It has to be things implemented in the system to prevent us from going to the next level, right? Like for instance, when black people will go to vote and they would say, not only do we need your ID, but count how many jelly beans inside this jar. What the fuck? What is the system, bro? You know what I'm saying? Oh, we ain't have a polling place right here. It's across town now. You know, black people have to get together in one van to drive 20 people to the polling site. It's the system. You saw in school, I'm sure you saw the same thing I saw, you know what I'm saying? A Raisin in the Sun. It wasn't just the movie they played for us. It's the system showing us how black people in Chicago, in the city where I'm from, was not able to move to communities like Bronzeville or communities like that because of the system. Now, how does that system stay in place? People who believe in the system, and this is their value system. It's both, bro.
Well,
it's the people.
I would argue it's not just the people that believe in the system, but certainly by far the majority people that don't necessarily agree with it, but take no action to fight it. If there's no incentive to change the system because it doesn't affect you, then it just doesn't affect you. You don't care. Does that make sense? And so that's how you have Rogers Park looks the way it looks and Inglewood look the way it looked. It's not that those people in Rogers Park are all racist. It's just that that's Inglewood. That's y'all problem.
Okay, but action looks like something, bro. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, I just can't say that, right? Like, before a KKK member left out his house, his wife gave him a kiss and told him, baby, you look all right. Yo, bro, it's a system, bro. It ain't just the man who was there burning the cross. His wife was with that. His children saw that man leave the house as well, right? Right, bro? You know what I'm saying, right? It's a system, right, bro? You know what I'm saying? Meetings take place in places, bro. You know what I'm saying? They say that we don't want black people living over here. We don't want minorities living over here because that's going to bring down the value of my motherfucking house. If I have them move on the same block, it's system. How do I keep that in place? With people who value that system. Who are the typical people that value that system? People that typically value that system is people that profited off. Listen, why do we go so hard with instilling black pride in the black women and children? Because white supremacists benefit in overwhelming amounts off of black dysfunction, bro. Off of black dysfunction, bro.
I would definitely agree with you on that.
If we fucking know, bro, that that's what it is, they thriving off this shit. When we come together and I say, I love black man, your race needs you. Black woman, your race needs you. I say a Black Lives Matter, which you would never hear me say because black power matters to me. I already knew my Black Lives Matter from my grandmama. She told me that when I was 2. The thing that we haven't had in this country is power, bro. You know what I'm saying? I already know my Black Lives Matter. When Black Power matter, you ain't gonna have to announce to nobody that Black Lives Matter. And anybody that's yelling white power know that shit, bro. They know that shit. They be on my page and they be like, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Whose job is it to protect black women and children if it ain't a black man's? Whose job is it to protect white women and children if it ain't a white man's? We gotta stop dunking and acting like it ain't. I see the color. I see what it is. My job is not to treat him different because I see that shit. It's to respect him. Okay, bro, I see you, bro. You a man, bro. You taking care of your woman and your children are good. I don't care who my daughter get with. I don't care who my son get with. But I'd be damned if we continue to get disrespected in this country like that, bro. I know that could have been my neck. That dude had his knee on, bro. Ain't no doubt about it, my man. And why was his knee on his neck? Why was his knee on his neck, bro? Because he didn't see the value in my man's life. He didn't see the value in his life. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know what I'm saying, people be like, hey, D, you don't owe no explanation to white people. You ain't got to tell them shit. Just go out here and do your thing. No, I'm going to say something, bro. I'm going to say something because I need you to feel what the fuck we just felt for 400 years. I'm articulate enough to do that shit. I'm not just going to yell and just scream at nobody just because you opposite of where I'm at. We're going to sit at the table and I can definitely tell you the pain that me and my family have felt for 400 years and what needs to be done to rectify that shit. What needs to be done to rectify that is this conversation that we having right now with all five of us. Stop every fucking radio station. Stop every fucking TV station in this world. Get the leaders on there. Sit down. Let's go. It's a problem in this damn country right here, and everybody ain't treated the same. Fix it today. Until that happen right now, we bullshit.
You're absolutely right, D Cook. And between you and Adam, you guys have both said a lot. Um, I want to first touch base on the whole law. You said it correctly. Like it is both. I don't care what anybody says. You know, is it the laws? Is it the law enforcement? Is it's everybody. Because if I walk into a store and I go to rob a store and I have a gun, I'm gonna get off easily because I'm crazy. I can claim a mental illness, right? But if one of y'all three go and do it, you're not gonna get the same. You're not gonna get
I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
right. Exactly. So not even just that. You know. So you guys are gonna get a bigger charge than I would, right? And I might just get a slap on the hand, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous. You do the crime, you do the damn time. I'm sorry. I don't care what the race is. And the racism just needs to stop. Do I believe that critical race theory needs to come into the school system? Absolutely, because you know what? It's not even being taught correctly in the damn schools. Now, what I do want to say is if it's a white person writing this damn theory, I'm sorry. I want it to be read by the black community to make sure it's accurate information because you know what? I have I have family members that are mixed, that are not just black and white, but they are Hispanic, they are black, they are Hispanic mixed together. I want them to know the truth and not this, smooth over, watered down, sugar coated bullshit. Give me the real stuff. Do I feel that it can be used against white people? Not necessarily. Again, that's something that would be taught. You know, you shouldn't have to fear a white person. We shouldn't have to fear black people, right? And that's taught in many families, which I think is absolutely disgusting. It needs to stop. If you know how to read a person, which I know how to read people very well, vibes and everything, if you pick up the negative energies, then you already know what's up. But don't just, judge them because of what they're wearing and how they look or, whatever the case may be. Pick up your senses. Um, Again, the critical race theory, yes, I think it needs to go into the school systems and it can't just be a 2-week thing. It needs to be like a whole semester. Like it needs to be written out and it needs to be good presentation. And here's the other thing with that, because this is what is so messed up, not only in the school systems, but in corporate America itself. Um, if you're going to do it, make sure it's right and make sure it's across the board. We are not changing anything because we're here in Chicago. California, because California is whack anyways. They got all their damn legal laws and everything's different there. Same thing on the East Coast, everything's different there. It needs to be the same thing across all 50 damn states. If we're going to do it here in the US, it needs to be the same. It should not be rewritten for other states just to sugarcoat or whatever. No, it is what it is. It happened. It needs to be taught. These kids need to understand what happened. Races, and hopefully these kids can go home, especially the white kids, the Caucasian kids could go home and educate their family and help make that change. I'm sorry. I get so passionate about this stuff because it hurts my heart. Like I love people. Like Adam, that's my brother. Like real talk, that's my brother. So it's like he knows my heart. You know, you know who Queen Alexis, they already know my heart. And it's just like I love, and when I love, it's just like it frustrates the shit out of me. It gets me so angry to see shit. So it's like this just needs to stop.
Yeah, for sure. It's frustrating stuff, and it's changing. You know what I mean? The conversation is on the table. So whether or not we can iron out the details of it, that remains to be seen. But at least at this point, we are hearing uh, leaders that are directly talking about critical race theory and prison reform and reparations. I mean, these were conversations that simply just we wouldn't have heard 20 years ago. So at least they're on the table, and that's progress.
It's true. All right, here you go. So, yeah, having some technical difficulties. We will not have this problem like we did when we was talking about Trump. We're not going through this, okay? But you are absolutely right. I wanted to make this last observation, and then we're gonna end this out. I wanted to comment on something that D. Cook said about what type of training as Black parents that we have to teach our children, especially when dealing with the police. Like for Adam and Mavis, you know that y'all know y'all protocol. Police pull you over, just stay. Y'all can just sit in the car. Y'all can relax and everything. And police officer pull up, knock on the window, license and registration, please. Sir, what's the problem? That's not what we got to teach our children. We have to teach our children keep your hands visible. We got to teach our children have your license and your registration out, because if you reach for something, they're gonna think it's a weapon. A phone can be a weapon. A wallet can be a weapon. The little console, it could be considered as a weapon. We how to just walk down the street and everything. We got to keep on having to teach our children how to be in fear and everything when it comes to certain things that will be normal for y'all. And the reason why I'm like, okay, critical race theory, I agree with you, Mavis. Critical race theory should be in schools and everything, but tell the whole story. Tell the truth. Do not sit up here and gloss over stuff and smooth over stuff because you're not comfortable with what happened. And look, it happened. So we need to tell. Now, as far as it becoming weaponized and everything, and people are scared of that, hmm, I'm trying to see how I can say this and not get us canceled so we can come back next season. But you wouldn't have to worry about seeing the information becoming weaponized against a certain group of people when history and the system and everything about this country has used everything to weaponize against us. You don't have to worry about it. if you're not already practicing it. And I'm gonna leave it right there. So thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Adam Listina, thank you for coming through and everything. D Cook, thank you for coming through and everything. Please let our viewers know where they can find y'all, support y'all, and everything. We're gonna start with D Cook and then Adam.
Okay, well, once again, I just appreciate you all for giving us a platform and a safe space to be able to have this conversation. Thank you so much. I appreciate the podcast. Love to be back. You can find D Cook on all social media platforms. Daryl Cook all across the board, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I am Daryl Cook on the website. And hopefully I'll be out to your city speaking to youth and uplifting them, all youth, uplifting them so they can go out and make this world truly, truly what we envision and not just what we say. What we got on paper, we're gonna make that into a reality. So I appreciate you.
So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Adam Lestina, Lestina. Once again, it was great talking to everyone. AD Cook, honestly, it was great learning some stuff. I'm always willing to learn. That's the only way to move forward. It's great to be able to meet in the middle, find common ground, and see how we can actually build off of this. You can't do anything unless you're actually able to communicate. You can't talk sense into someone that's on the defensive. So at least we're able to get somewhere today. It's great.
He said it best right there. It's all about perspective, people. And what America needs to do is they need to take off their blinders, open up their ears, and just look at the true reality and think with your own mind, listen with your own ears, and look with your own eyes, not somebody else who's been feeding you BS and BS and BS. Let it go. Do your own research. It's on the internet. Make sure it's legit, but it's all about perspective. Remove your blinders. Love one another. Be the change.
All right, Devontae, any last words before we go?
Absolutely. I want to thank all the panelists that was here, our guests, D Cook, my man Adam. Yo, I appreciate y'all for coming out. It was a really good conversation. And I know we could have went for hours and hours and hours. You know what I mean? So it's a good feeling. You know what I mean? It's a heavy topic, but you walk out of it with a good feeling. So I definitely want to thank y'all for that. For all of our viewers, I definitely want to send a shout out to my cousin, a local entrepreneur in Chicago. If you happen to partake of anything natural, feel free to check out dopesmoke.com. She has premium tobacco roll-ups for you. So check that out at dopesmoke, DOPESMK.com, or find it on Instagram. And yo, have a great weekend. I love y'all. You know what it is.
All right, all right. Man, tonight was amazing. Amazing. You right, Devontae. We could sit here and be like, so this is about to be a 4-hour conversation. Grab a chair, get your blanket. We're gonna still be talking about this. Here you go. But yo, I truly, truly, truly enjoy this conversation. And I'm glad that we have the diverse panel to learn and to find middle ground. And it's not just, one side is saying one thing, the other side is saying another thing, and we're never coming together. I'm grateful for this platform for doing such things as that, man. Marie, talking about I was about to make some popcorn. Dang, you're right, man. We was about to go for it, but yo, you know how we do. We can go for it. But thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Quick announcement, for all of our Mad Hatters, fans, supporters, and everything. Next Saturday, we are going to have a raffle for our fan appreciation. We are picking 3 people. 3 people. So I'm going to put back up the post for our fan appreciation raffle. All you have to do is comment your name, under the post, and we want to put it into a raffle. What you're winning is Mad Hatter's merch. We also got merchandise from Nail Color Street with our girl Mavis, Avis, Davis, and also you'll get something from Amani Queen for the body and for the mind, skincare and self-care products and everything. So make sure y'all get on that post. Put y'all names in so we can put it into the raffle. We choosing 3 people, okay? So with that being said, thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Next week will be our season finale for season 3. It has been one hell of a ride for season 3, but it's been amazing as usual. We will be returning with season 4 the second Saturday in September. We're gonna be on hiatus and stuff. And next week we're actually gonna end out the season having a conversation about the Black Lives Matter movement versus the organization. And another thing is black trauma is suitable for some of these activists, not all, but some of these activists project. Is black trauma an activist project? It's a gang thing. We're going to talk about that. So y'all stay tuned. Come back here next Saturday. Y'all, Adam, D Cook, y'all are more than welcome to come through on next week. I see you in the comments and go, put me in, coach. I'm be like, here you go. And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So y'all tune in next week, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and everything. Here live on Facebook and on YouTube. Facebook at the Mad Hatters Podcast, on YouTube at the Mad Hatter Podcast 5:30. Man, tune in, Twitch, and also Spotify. The playback will be on Spotify and on iHeartRadio. Man, tune in, and thank you for rocking with us for another season. We will see y'all on next week for our season finale. End it out with a bang, all right? Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Mwah. And y'all have an amazing night. All right. And we are out.